They'll hand it off to the right side. Oh, what a hit! Oh, my goodness! Ty Goodwill with the TFL. Holy cow.
There's your collision of the game, Pat.
I think that one might win. I think that might be the collision. My goodness.
Very excited about this opportunity this weekend, Friday afternoon. Our athletic director set it up to where we have a Friday afternoon game that doesn't affect with all the rivalry games on Saturday, so we should have a great crowd and honor these seniors in their last chance here in Hancock-Whitney. These guys have done a lot for our program, played under 3 different head coaches, took us to 3 different bowl games in the last 3 years. All of them are graduates. Just, really proud of them. I've only been their head coach for a year, but I've been around these guys for 4 years. And I've seen them just grow and develop, and I'm happy that they get to go out the way they do in terms of a postseason game. Proud of the way they played last week. The second half was a better response than we've had in some second halves this year. It just shows some growth. But we'll take full inventory when the season's over with, but just proud of how we've grown as a team and continue to grow. And we're going to probably face one of, if not our biggest challenge this Friday in terms of a very dynamic football team, the way they play the game. On offense, defense, special teams, they're leading the league in terms of scoring. Defensively, they play with a lot of different looks up front. They can change things up. They pressure, play a lot of different coverages. Their special teams is dynamic. They've got great returners. Their punt returner last week had over 200 yards in punt returns, 1 for a touchdown, set up 2 other scores. So they're bringing in a great ball club, but we're ready and excited about the challenge.
You guys were 2-4 at one time. Obviously, 1-4 your last 5. Just what's been the key, would you say, to turn that around?
A lot of people just trying as hard as they can. I wish I could say there was some magical silver bullet speech or there was some defining moment, but I think to have marked improvement, everybody has to feel like they have areas to improve. And whether it's staff members, GAs, QCs, analysts, head coach, players, just all taking ownership over where we're weak and where we need to get stronger and addressing it and not being afraid of it. And then you have to also understand, you have to have a little bit of patience. It's a lot like raising a child. You can take, 2 steps forward and 5 steps back one day, and then the next day you can take 5 steps forward and no steps back. But you got to be prepared for those times where, okay, it's not what we wanted. These were the steps back. We knew it might happen. This is a learning process. It's not always a consistent upward trend, so let's not let this little setback, knock us all the way down. Let's get these guys back and going. And let's also understand when you are winning games, those issues are still there. The issues that we had against Georgia Southern are still there, and we've got to continue to fix them. Regardless of whether we won our last 2 ball games, it's just human nature to overlook things when you're successful. But that's not what we need to do as a staff. We need to continue to find the things that we need to get better at.
You mentioned having a Friday game. Not only does that obviously help with the crowd and all that sort of thing, but gives you a chance to kind of take care of business maybe, and then worry about what everybody else does the next day.
Yeah, it's I started having flashbacks when I started seeing the schedule and the way it all laid out, because I remember being at my apartment in 2001 and people calling on their little Nokia cell phones and saying, hey, tune in, Oklahoma State's got Oklahoma on the ropes, and you see Rashawn Woods catch it past the end zone, and then your whole next month just changed, in terms of a conference championship game and all that. But I still have kind of the same approach that I did then at 23 years of age. Like, I've got other things going on. You're going to have to catch me on my cell phone. I'm focused on South Alabama, my family. I'm not tuned into other people's games or point spreads or things like that. That's irrelevant. That doesn't help me in anything that I've got to do today. So, let's focus on us. I like us. Let everybody else handle themselves.
Talk about the challenge of Texas State, especially offensively. They're so multiple. They can do so many good things.
Yeah, they're really explosive. They're fast. I'm not going to hide it. Their quarterbacks can run, their backs can run, their wide receivers can run, just so I don't offend their tight ends. Their tight ends can run. But they're a really, really good football team offensively, and they've gotten a little bit more multiple this year in terms of the formations. They vary their tempos more. They can still go at lightning speed, or they can get in a huddle and take their time. So they make it very difficult for you to find their tempo, difficult to find their formations. They spread the ball around. They make sure everybody gets touches, and they don't waste many snaps. They're not going to throw it or hand it to anybody that can't score.
You guys saw McLeod, obviously, JMU last year. Just what makes him special?
I think he makes really good decisions with the ball, and I think when he gets out of the pocket, and he can escape. He's not a guy it's immediately going to get tucked or his eyes go down. He extends plays to throw the ball, but I think he has a good feel for, all right, the defense has won this play. It's time for me to make a good decision and throw it away or tuck it and go get 5, make it 2nd and 5. You know, I just think he does a really good job. I think that's what defines quarterbacks. You know, we can all throw to people that are wide open, but what do you do when they got a better play call? How do you take care of the ball? How do you go to the next down? I think he does a really good job of that.
Since after you watched film Southern Miss, what did you like about what you guys did?
Well, thought, kind of when we were able to get out of our own way a little bit there, and credit to them, we were really able to hit some explosive plays, which was good to see. You're generally going to need those to be able to score points. So that was good. And then, just probably some of the things maybe we could do a little bit better. Just find some better things to get to sustain drives. But it was, that was an awesome feeling. Just be able to win there. It's a tough place to win. And I'm going on 4 years here now. And the last place I was at was the University of Alabama. And, every game's important. But, you got a couple of games there that you play somebody and it feels like it's got just a little bit more sting to it. And every year that I've been here, that's kind of what I felt with Southern Miss. That game's got a little sting to it. They came out, I think both teams ready to play. And, they got guys from Alabama. We got guys from Mississippi. A lot of those kids have played each other in high school, played with each other in JUCO, or played together on all-star teams. So there's just a lot of crossover. So it was a great game, great win.
Texas State, pretty big challenge. Obviously, defensively, they can do some good things. What do you see with them?
Yeah, last Saturday was probably an anomaly for what they've done this year. And obviously they'll be doing everything they can to get that fixed. They're, kind of in a similar way to Lafayette. They are long, they're athletic. Got a lot of guys, it seems like, from the transfer portal. They play a lot of different guys, so generally they're fresh. They're very physical. And they do a good job of changing the picture for you pretty consistently throughout the game. So we're going to have our hands full. We know they're going to be ready to play.
Asher Hales, guys had to play as a freshman, probably going to have to play now from here on out. Just what do you see?
Yeah, I mean, and totally fired up by Asher. We got all the confidence in the world in him. Hate it for Reed Bias, one of the leaders on the team, and that's just you hate to see that, but. We got full confidence in Asher, and he's played a lot this year already. A local kid who will be chomping at the bit for the last home game of the season, guaranteed home game. So, we got plenty of confidence in him. He knows the playbook, and we're going to call it the same way.
Can you talk about the excitement both on the team and around campus now that y'all are bowl eligible?
Yeah, and I think, I think obviously that's a big deal. With such a young program, that hadn't been around very long to go to 3 bowl games in a row. We certainly feel like we're trending in the right direction. With that said, we're focused on Texas State. We got a lot more to play for with just this one game. We don't know what can happen. But we owe it to the seniors to leave it all out on the field. And so that's kind of where our focus is right now. But it is a big deal.
Texas State tempo team, obviously, just what's the challenge in that?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just it's going to be discipline, right? I feel like it's the same story every week when we come in here. But, I think a lot of the lessons from the North Texas game, obviously, we've got to take some of those to heart. We fell for a couple of trick plays there and just – I think we've got to do a really good job of understanding what's hurt us this year. When you get to week 12, offenses are a lot of copycat. So they're going to look at the big plays that have been hit against us and they may not run it exactly that way, but they're going to run it a version of that way. And so just understanding those things and being able to correct some of those mistakes. And obviously, like you said, with the tempo to get lined up, I think that's going to be a big challenge for us. And so we're practicing that and making it a big point of emphasis.
McLeod, you saw last year at JMU, just what kind of challenge?
Yeah, dynamic player. I mean, really, really good quarterback. Does a great job. Even when things start to break down in the pocket, he does a great job of keeping his eyes downfield and being able to step up and step through. And it's not always a step up and scramble, which he can definitely hurt you with his legs. But a lot of times he'll step up and still throw the ball. And so we've got to do a great job of, again, discipline and staying in coverage and understanding what all those things look like. Even though he's stepping forward, it may not necessarily be a scramble situation.
Talk about the performance Saturday. You give up that first drive, touchdown, and then no more touchdowns after that, just 2 field goals. I mean, they really kind of solid. Everything got solid after.
Yeah, I think it was, they got us on our heels a little bit. I don't think we came out with the same intensity we probably should have, and that's on us as a coaching staff to make sure that that happens. And so we've got to do a better job getting our guys ready to play. But I think, they did a great job. We got the kitchen sink thrown at us there on that first drive. And I think once we settled in and we understood leverage points, we got a couple more of them later in the game, and we did a good job. I think about the play that Reggie Neely had there on our near sideline where Scruggs came up and knocked it out there on the red area. That's been a big point of emphasis for us is red area play, and that's shown up now 2 weeks in a row. And I think, the guys just understand that, and they're starting to – we talked about a couple weeks ago how when Bubba made that play against Lafayette, just the confidence you could pull from that. And I think that's what's starting to really show up is the confidence that those guys are playing with and just their ability of knowing that, hey, no matter what's happened on the drive up until that point, we still got a chance to be at our best and get off the field. And I think a lot of that showed up as we went throughout the game. And, I think obviously – you're talking red area, but obviously being able to score on defense there with that interception by West was huge, man. It's such a, that's why we put that coverage in. We had a low hole player and a high hole player, as we would call it, and having West with the ability to do that. And, he just read it and they tried to run it. I don't even think the quarterback saw him, and I know I saw West's post game. He said he didn't see him either. So it was a good job by West to pick that off. And then, the key to that one to me was Voisin blocking the receiver down as he ran down that sideline. That's a selfless play for a guy like Voisin, who is the career leader in interceptions, but he shows up blocking for West, and a chance to score a touchdown. So, those things continue to show up, and, they get one last chance here in Hancock Whitney and just a chance to go out for the seniors. I'm excited for some of those guys, 99 and 2, and just we got a myriad of seniors on our side of the ball that have given a lot to this program. So, I'm excited to see, how they respond this week.
People may say freshmen aren't really freshmen at this point in the year, but Mark Shattuck was a guy who had not played at all a couple weeks ago, and he's making an impact as a pass rusher.
Yeah, I mean, he might still be a little bit, he might still be a little green behind his ears. But he's a guy who's a very intelligent player. He's a two-way player out of LaGrange in high school. And so, I mean, I think it's one of those things that when you know the other side of the ball, it kind of gives you some of that understanding and football intelligence. And so for us, it's, he's really dove into it. And it's nice that he's had a guy like Darius. Darius is so intelligent. His football IQ is extremely high. And so being able to play behind Darius and even with Dalton and Gavin, those guys that, maybe weren't as they're not contributing now as much on the field, but still off the field, that knowledge is invaluable. And now he's starting to see, some of those things in the game starting to slow down for him. And so obviously the future is going to be really bright for him. And he brings a good spark of athleticism to that position as well, which is really, really nice.
You guys gave up a touchdown in the first drive, and after that didn't give up another one. Just when you watch the film, what did you take away from how you guys performed?
It was just the little things, we just that first drive they came at us with a lot of trick plays and whatnot. So we weren't really doing our part as a defense. So once we locked in and buckled down, the result was the result. So.
Texas State's got a ton of weapons, running, passing. I mean, what do you see as a challenge to stop these guys this week?
Just doing our job, Nothing really changes as far as us as a defense. We're all we know our standard. We just play to that standard, and whatever comes, as long as we play to our standard, the result that comes out, we'll live with.
The fact you guys won and got bowl eligible, even though there's still a lot left on the table, did that maybe take some of the pressure off going in this week and play a little looser, or not at all?
Nah, it was more so just us just trying to prove to ourselves that who we are as a team. We want to be the hardest, most physical team out there that Saturday. So I really don't think being bowl eligible was at the forefront of our mind. We were just trying to go out there and execute and do our job.
Can you talk about kind of finishing out the rest of the season? What are y'all hoping to accomplish?
Hopefully, we get a shot at that Sun Belt championship. But like I said earlier, we're just trying to prove to ourselves who we are as a team and you know, just being the most physical team on the field that Saturday. You know, we have a standard that we play to, so as long as we achieve that standard, we'll live with the result.
Last home game, probably. I mean, things could still happen, but just how you feel going into it and kind of your whole career up to this point.
I'm pretty happy, you know. Feel like we like been going on the right track these last couple games, so I feel good going into it and just ready to go out there, have fun, and just give them all. That's all. So I'm ready for it.
What are some of the challenges Texas State presents? That's obviously a good, very physical defense that we'll face.
They play like a lot of coverages and stuff, so just like having my eyes open, the whole receiving core and whole offense having our eyes open, just making sure we read the right coverage and stuff like that.
You got one over 1,000 yards receiving, the fourth time in 5 years you guys have had that. You know, had a lot of great receivers before you. What have you taken from those guys and, you know, kind of develop your game?
Just, you know, trusting in the game plan that we already have, like, put in place and just going out and execute, man, and just playing hard each and every game and just getting my all, that's all, and just trying to execute for the team.
The guys came before you, like Colin and Jalen, you know, did you kind of, what'd you learn, I guess, you know, playing with those guys?
Just to work hard, you know, and just try to take little things from their game, like run at the catch or, you know, just how to adjust to some balls, just things like that, just little minor things that can, you know, help me improve.
How did it feel to become bowl eligible over the weekend?
Oh, it felt real good, you know. As a senior, you know, that's something you want, so it definitely felt good.
You guys are still alive for the Sun Belt title, which maybe didn't look like it was going to be possible 3 or 4 weeks ago. Just how does it feel to go in your last game knowing that you got a shot at that?
Oh, it felt good, but we know we got to handle our business and just let everything else take care of itself. So just focus on Texas State and whatever happens, happens.